All right, we will get started. So good morning, everybody. Just come to lay on your back. Just gonna switch this here.
Could you repeat?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just said to come lay on your back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, so we'll get started. So just getting comfortable. This is just a nice, chill, relaxing class today. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
And then just tucking your shoulders under, bring your arms and your legs out nice and wide. Close your eyes. And then just start to take a few deep breaths here, in and out through the nose. Just letting your muscles relax. Just try to let the ground beneath you support the weight of your body. And taking an inhale through the nose, letting your ribs expand. And an exhale through the nose, just letting your shoulders soften away from your ears. And just take a few more breaths just like that before we start to get moving. Just clearing the mind of any distractions, anything that is trying to pull you away from your mat this morning, something you have to do after, something that happened before. Just really try to focus only on the sound of your breathing here. And then just slowly beginning to move your head side to side. So just waking up the neck and the shoulders. And trying to work the ear closer toward the mat each time. And as you bring your gaze back through center, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles. And step the feet onto the floor, and then just start to pull your knees in toward your chest. Wrap the arms around the shins and give yourself a squeeze. And try to root down through your low back. And then just a little rocking motion side to side here. Good, and let's keep the right knee in. Start to extend your left leg out long. Interlace the hands on top of that right shin. Really try to push out through the bottom of your left foot. So you're active through your left leg and you're squeezing the right leg in. If it feels okay for you, maybe right away you start to find some movement through your right side. So you can slide the thigh side to side, or you can trace circles with your hip. We won't be here for too long, but we just really want to start to wake up that right side. Noticing how it's feeling this morning, if there's any tightness. Good, now from here, start to step your left foot onto the floor, and you're going to extend the sole of the right foot up to the ceiling. Take your hands and just interlace them on the back of the right thigh for a hamstring stretch. So as you do this, you don't want to feel any tension in your upper body. So shoulders and neck are relaxed. And nothing too intense. You're just finding a gentle stretch. So pulling that right thigh in just very slightly. Maybe you circle around through the ankle. Yeah, just about 4 cycles of breath here. And then at the end of your last breath, just release the hands. Take your time, slowly start to lower that right leg all the way. Try to resist the floor. Okay, just lots of control, feeling the top of that right thigh. Good, and now pull your left knee in. Hands interlace. And try to interlace with your opposite grip, so your non-dominant grip, just to even out that stretch through your hands, your fingers. And then just finding some gentle movement again, whatever feels good. And keep pushing out through the bottom of the right foot. Just make sure you stay active through that right side. Last few breaths. Good, and then bring the right foot onto the floor. So same thing, coming into the hamstring stretch, left foot reaches up. Again, interlace with that non-dominant grip. Soften the shoulders. Just really want to keep that breath really consistent, really smooth. Top of the inhale and bottom of the exhale. And try to go just a little bit further on the breath out. Last 4 breaths. Good, so end of the 4th breath. Again, just carefully and controlled, bring that left leg all the way down. And then extend the right leg as well. Let your toes just splay out to the sides. Find some stillness, find some heaviness. Just a few breaths here. So you're going to step the feet onto the floor, bring your right arm overhead and start to roll onto the right side. So rolling onto the right side, you can just land here for a couple of breaths. And then we will start to transition onto our stomachs. I'm just gonna turn the opposite way. So you're gonna be on your stomach. And we're going to continue to work on the lower body, but just getting a bit into the tops of the thighs. So you're going to bend the right knee, and then you can stay propped up onto your forearms if you like. I usually come down, sort of stacking my hands and resting my forehead, or you can turn the head to one side. You're going to bend the right knee, reach back with your right hand, and then just clasp the top of the foot. So if you can't quite reach, this is a good place to use a strap or a belt. You would just loop it around the foot and then hold on to the strap. So you just want to come to the point where you feel a stretch in your quad, maybe a little bit through the hip flexor as you pull that right heel in toward your seat. Again, just smoothing out your breath here. Long inhales, slower exhales. And start to release that right side and then just switch. So right into the left side, creating that same shape. At every exhale, can you squeeze that left heel in a little bit closer? All right, release the left side, bend both of your knees, just stack your hands, and then just gently sway your shins side to side. All right, and whenever you're ready, lower the legs down, plant the hands, press back into a wide-legged child's pose. So hips to the heels, or sitting onto a block or a cushion if that's more comfortable. Walk the hands forward, rest the forehead. Again, if your forehead doesn't quite reach the mat, you can just slide something underneath to close up that space. And try to get nice and long through the arms, reaching through the tips of the fingers, pressing the hips back and down. Good. Spread the fingers out wide, start to press into your hands, come forward to a tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. On the inhale, start to look over the right shoulder as you press your hips all the way to the left. And on the exhale, come back through center. Breath into switch, hips press right, looking over the left shoulder. Exhale, center. Keep moving through those. Just waking up the side body here. And do just one more on each side here. And as you come back through center, inhale, drop the belly down, scooping through your low back, coming into cow pose, roll the shoulders back. And exhale, press into the hands around the spine, drop the head. All right, breathe in, come up. Exhale, round it out. Do 3 more like that. Inhale, getting a stretch through the front of the body. Exhale into the back body. Come back to a neutral spine. So from your tabletop, you're going to step your right foot forward between the hands. So your fingers can just be sort of lightly to the mat. Right hip pulls back, left hip presses forward. So we're getting back into that left quad and the left hip flexor, gently pressing forward and down. Just here for about 3 breaths. And at the end of the 3rd breath, start to bring your hands to the top of the right thigh. You can interlace and then bring those shoulders back so they're right on top of the hips. Soften the toes on the right foot, so you don't want to be gripping super hard. You want to press down through the bottom of the foot. Good. Inhale, grow a little bit taller. Exhale to lunge. Good. 2 more like that. So at the end of the 2nd breath, you're going to bring your hands back down to the mat. I'm actually just going to turn to the side so you can see a bit better. So your hands come down to the mat, and then you're rocking your hips back so your front leg is straight. You're finding a hamstring stretch. And your leg doesn't have to be super straight. You can bend the knee a little bit here, and you're just simply folding over the thigh. Good, and just take about 3 or 4 breaths here. Nothing too crazy. At the end of your last breath, you're just going to come forward, and however you want to get there, come back to a tabletop position. You can rock the hips back, rock them forward, just reset. And then whenever you're ready, left foot comes between the hands. Good, so those same just sort of small, gentle movements, pressing that right hip forward and down on your exhales. Good, a couple more. Just breathing right into the front of that right hip. And then hands to the left thigh, bring the shoulders back. Good, and try to squeeze into your right glute. So engage that muscle, and you're going to feel this a little more through that right hip flexor. Got a couple more here. And then hands come down. So you've been here before. You're walking those hips back. Curl the toes in. Bend the left knee as much as you need to. Right into that left hamstring. Good, so now this time you're still going to walk forward, but we're going to come into a downward facing dog. So again, however you want to get there. Hands are about shoulder distance, feet are hip distance. Spread the fingers wide, pressing down through index fingers and thumbs here. And then just walking it out. You can sway the hips sort of side to side. I'm just feeling this in the back body. All right, so now start to lower your knees onto the mat. You're going to sit onto either hip. So mostly focus on the lower body today. So feet come out in front of you. They're hip distance apart. You're going to bring your hands behind you. Your fingers face forward. Lean back a bit. And now take your right ankle to the top of your left leg. So it's the same sort of shape that you were in thread the needle, but it's just in a seated position. If you're super tight through the hips and this doesn't feel good, extend your left leg and then just work from here. So you want your right foot to be flexed. The toes shouldn't be pointed. Curl the toes back to the knee, and the right knee just sort of gently presses away from you. And then just a little trick here to keep your hips square. Your left leg, so the foot that's planted, you want that thigh to be in line with the shoulder. So don't let it sort of cave into the center. Try not to let it splay out. You want it to line up right with your left shoulder. And of course, if you're more open in the hips, you would scooch your hips closer to your left foot. So you're bringing your chest closer to your shin. If you're tighter through the hips, there's more space between the left foot and the hips. And not here for too much longer, just about 4 or 5 breaths. And when you come to the bottom of your 4th or your 5th breath, just lean back a bit, plant the feet onto the mat, walk them out about mat distance, and then just gently rock the knees side to side. Good, so coming back through center, feet are hip distance, same setup, hands behind you, lean back, left ankle top of the right leg. Might be a little bit different on this side, depending on which side you are tighter on. So just adjust as needed. Good, left toes are curled back toward the left knee. And then try to maintain a nice long spine here. So if you notice yourself sort of rounding forward, sort of press into the hands to lengthen, to lift up. Just following that rhythm of breath here. Got 4 more. And at the end of the 4th, same transition, just a little lean back. Bring the feet mat distance. Slowly and gently sway the knees back and forth. All right, so knees come back through center. This time you're going to extend the legs out. Most of us have some sort of tightness in our hamstrings, so you can bend the knees, and then you want to keep those toes curled back to the face. Take an inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward just to the point where you can keep a straight spine. So if you're doing this, you've gone too far, come back up, and then just let your hands land. Don't worry about touching your feet. It's more about creating a flat back, a long spine, and then just hinging forward. If you can grab onto your feet, that's great. If not, that's also great. You just want to come to the place where you feel this in the backs of the thighs. Nothing in your lower back. So if you are feeling it in your low back, bend the knees a bit more. At every inhale, try to lengthen your spine, find a bit of space. Exhale to fold. Okay, now walk yourself back up, let go of whatever you're holding on to, let your legs totally relax, and now just let your upper body fall forward, let your spine round, release your head completely. So just a passive forward fold here, no effort. Just a few more really big breaths. And slowly start to rise up. Head is last to lift. You're going to tuck your right foot in, and you can walk that left heel out a bit wider. So again, the left foot is active, toes are curled back. Take your left forearm and you're just going to place it on the top of the left thigh. Bring the right hand to the low back. Good. And then just slowly start to roll the right shoulder back. So you're sort of opening your chest toward the ceiling. Again, you don't want to force anything here. You're just going to your range of motion. If it feels okay for the neck, you can look up to the ceiling. If not, you're just sort of looking forward. And then you can always layer onto this. You can take your hand to the back of your head. You can reach your fingers up, or you can sort of reach up and over. And it shouldn't feel painful at all. Just a slight stretch through that right side. And keep your core really engaged here as you start to rise back up. You can turn to face your left foot and then just gently fold. Just a little counter pose, heavy head. And come back up. You can lean back to switch sides. right leg extends, and right forearm onto the thigh, left hand to the low back. Pull the low belly in and then just start to roll that chest open. The right rib cage is sort of hugging underneath. And make sure you're breathing here. You can stay or layer on with that left arm. Good, strong core. Same thing, rise up. Turn to the right foot and just a gentle fold, passive forward fold, heavy head, rounded spine. And then just slowly start to rise up. Extend the legs out in front of you. You're going to bend the right knee and step the right foot to the outside of the left leg. So you're sitting up tall, your right hand comes behind, and then just wrap the left arm around the thigh. And you don't want to be sort of hunching forward here, really tall through the back body, and then you're just gently twisting to the right side. All right, come back. Right leg extends. The left foot to the outside of the thigh, left hand behind you. Right arm wraps around. Breathing in to lengthen. Breathing out to twist. Inhale. And exhale. A couple more like that. I'd come back through center. This time you can take just a really subtle counter twist, nothing forceful. Unwind the legs, bring the feet together, the soles of the feet together, knees are wide. Hands can sort of hold on to the tops of the feet, can lengthen the spine on your breath in, and fold with a straight spine on the exhale. Again, just to your range of motion or where you feel that sort of first place of tension. All right, so from here, just sort of walk yourself back up, slide the heels further away from the body, and now let your upper body round forward, releasing the head and the neck. So just a passive version of that pose. So carefully rise, bring the hands to the outsides of the knees, walk the feet in closer toward your body, wrap the arms around the shins, tuck your chin to your chest and give yourself a really tight squeeze here. Take a few deep breaths. And then just slowly bringing the chin away from the chest, taking a big inhale through the nose and a long exhale through the nose. Good. So this is where I will leave you all this morning. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you all. And I will be back tomorrow at 8 a.m., a little more of an active practice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Annie.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome. See you later.